Hey guys, so I am going to be remaking my Mandalorian Ahsoka pants in this video. So the pants that I currently have for this are actually made from a bedsheet that I got from the dollar store. And recently when I was at a Hobby Lobby, I found some really nice fabric that I decided I liked more than the current fabric I have and any of the previous fabrics that I've tried. So good news for you guys, I can actually do a tutorial video on this and hopefully I won't lose the footage like I did last time. And so I'm going to show you guys my process on how I made these. Alright, so here is my fabric. It is light gray, so I am going to have to dye it. And it is a two-way stretch, so I am going to have to be aware of that when I cut it out so that I can have the stretch going horizontally. So a little bit about the pants is they are very similar to Japanese hakama pants. That is very clearly the influence of them. So I will be using what I found on the internet on how those pants are made, but I am going to be making some modifications. I will be putting an elastic waistband on this, and I am actually going to be adding pockets to it because I really enjoy cosplays that have pockets. So I'm going to be adding pockets. Alright, so here is the pattern that I had drawn out during my breakdown video. Unfortunately, I lost the footage, and this was the second time I recorded that video, and I really don't want to do it a third time. So I am going to talk through what I figured out, and I am making some changes to this. So like I said, hakama pants. My first thought was that they were hair pants, but they're actually hakama pants because they have pleats in them and not gathers. And she does have at least 3 pleats. So I am going to be doing, she has one pretty close to the center seam right here. So I'm going to be doing 3 pleats. And I am going to make my pleats 3 inches each. And then I'm going to leave probably about 1.5 inches right here for seam allowance. And then this is going to be on the fold. So I'm just going to bring this straight down, and then I am just going to bring these pleats straight down. So this pleat is going to be a little bit wider, but that's on the inside of the leg. So this is on the fold, so this will be one pant leg, so I have to cut this out twice. This measurement I'm going to leave the same. This is from the waist to the crotch, so these do sit pretty low. I measured out about mid-thigh is where I want this to sit, and then this length I am going to be making longer. This is from the crotch down to the bottom, and I did make it 10 inches, but that was not long enough, and that actually hits like right below my knee, so I definitely want to make this longer. So instead of doing 10 inches, I think I'm just going to go 15, and then if it's too long I can always just cut that off instead. And then it will have a waistband. I'm going to plan on making the waistband probably about a 2-inch waistband, so I will need to cut out probably about a 5-inch strip for that. And then I will also have a band along here that goes on the bottom. That is the circumference of my calf, which I don't know what that is off the top of my head. So that is my basic pattern. So this was planned without putting pockets in. If I want to put pockets in, I'm honestly just going to cut down the middle right here and put a seam in right there, and then just put the pocket in on that side seam. Alright, so I drew out the pocket. I just basically traced out my phone, traced out something that was big enough, and then also that's something that is big enough for my phone to get in and out of, because I have accidentally made the opening of the pocket too small before. And this is just leftover fabric from my previous Ahsoka pants. This is the fabric I got from the dollar store. So I am going to cut this out. I am going to make it slightly larger than this so I have room for seam allowance. And then I do have to cut this seam off right here so I can actually have an opening pocket. Alright, so I'm going to be putting my pocket in about 8 inches down. The reason I'm going so far down is because of her belt, and the obi type thing that she wears goes pretty far down too. So I measured from about where my natural waist is down to where I think those are going to end. I didn't put them on because I don't feel like taking them out, and I also don't want the pocket to be like halfway down my thigh or anything. So this is for me a good estimate, and hopefully will be low enough but also not too low that I have to reach all the way down my thigh. Alright, so I've sewn all of my pocket pieces on. I did use a straight stitch just because this fabric doesn't stretch, even though this fabric does. So I would just rather not have any stretch so I don't have to worry about warping or any weirdness. And then I did do a zigzag stitch along the edge just to prevent fraying. So now I'm going to sew the side seams together. Alright, so I got the side seam all sewn together. I got my pocket in here, and I am very happy with how it came out. So now that I have my side seam all sewn, I am going to go ahead and do the pleats on the top and the bottom here, and I'm going to do the pleats before I sew the inner leg seam, just so it's all nice and flat and easier to deal with. And I'm going to do a zigzag stitch across all of where my pleats are just to hold everything in place. Alright, so I have my pleats all sewn, and I did go back in and make these pleats a little bit wider and also give them a little bit of an overlap. I underestimated how much this fabric would stretch, so it was a little bit too big when I measured it against my waist. So I'd go back in and make all of these pleats pretty big. Make all of these pleats bigger and overlap them. And I did the same thing on the bottom so that it would match my calf measurement. So now I'm just going to sew up the side seam and then sew up the crotch seam, and I'll be able to try them on and show you guys. Alright, so here is what they look like so far, and I do have pockets. Here's the other one. So looking at it and everything, I think I'm going to bring the waistline up probably about 2 or 3 inches just so it sits a little bit nicer. So if I roll it those couple of inches, I am much happier with how they're looking and where they are sitting. So I am going to go ahead and bring this up a couple of inches when I put the waistband on. Alright, so here they are with the waistband on. I apologize for wearing a gray shirt and gray pants that are almost the same color. The inside of the waistband's not sewed down yet. I just folded it over to see about how it would look. So I did end up taking probably about 4 inches off of the waistline up here, and I'm much happier with how they are sitting. Here are my pockets. So they are ready to be dyed now. So I'm going to go ahead and dye them before I finish off the waistband or anything, just because I don't want to have to worry about the heat of the dye bath affecting the elastic. I honestly think it would be fine, but it's just one less thing to worry about by not doing it. Alright, so here are the pants dyed black. I am very, sorry. Come on. There we go. So here are the pants dyed black. I am very happy with how they came out. I did have to dye them twice just because the first time didn't get them quite dark enough. So I had to get some different dye and dye them again. They are still slightly damp, so they are still transferring some dye a little bit to my hands. I think what I am going to do is go ahead and finish them up and then run them through the washer to get rid of some of that extra dye that's still coming off. But I'm not going to wait for them to dry anymore just because I'm impatient and I'm so ready to get these done because I'm so excited. So what I need to do next is put elastic in the waistband and finish up the waistband, and then put some spandex on the bottom of these. And they are done. So I put some elastic in the waistband and finish it off, and I put some spandex on the bottom of these, and these pants are all done. I am really happy with how they came out. They are super comfortable and they have pockets. The pockets are a little sticky right now because this fabric is still slightly damp. I do need to wash it still before I wear it anywhere because I didn't quite get all of the dye out. So you can really see it on my thumbs there. But I am incredibly happy with how it came out. My only complaint, I just got a new phone a couple days ago, and my pockets were made for my old phone, which was a little bit smaller, but I'm not going to go in and fix that right now. My phone still fits good enough. So I hope you guys found this helpful, and let me know if you have any comments or questions down below. I'm sorry for the black on black. This is the only background I have up right now, but I hope you guys found this helpful, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!